G'day folks, welcome back to the studio for build day number 2. Today we're going to build a sketch table, or drafting table, whatever you want to call it. I've decided to go medieval, surprise, surprise. So I've got a little bit of a plan drawn up here. It's not in the best shape. It was done 7:30 this morning on only one coffee, so don't judge me too hard, but it'll give you a good indication of what I'm after. We're using recycled timber today, so I'll just go through that if you're interested. I've got these old piano stands that I've had in the shed for absolute donkey's ages. Paid $15 for them, it was a steal. So we're going to incorporate those down here. We're going to have a little bit of a shelf there that I can put my pencils and stuff on. Got some Baltic pine flooring here that my lovely lady gave me once upon a time. We're still working on the Viking tent, so we've still got timber from that we're using. A little bit of old pine from a bit of furniture that I had. Now, I suppose I better go through the whole thing. So we've obviously got the legs here, the stand. We've got a barrel coming through here. The idea is, I haven't drawn it in, but we're going to have some rope lashed around. So we're kind of working on I think it'd be a Spanish windlass. I heard someone call it once upon a time. So the rope's going to be attached to this point and this point here. And as you crank the wheel here, the rope should have enough traction to tilt the top to whatever level you want. So that's the basic idea. Once again, I'm winging it. I should have called this Let's Wing It with Laszlo. So we've got locks that I've cut out. Now, I did all of this yesterday to save you guys watching a whole heap of cutting and sanding and whatnot. But there's still plenty to do today. So that's going to go in there, and as the wheel spins around, you put a pin in there and it locks the whole situation. Just a bit of added security, because I don't think the rope will hold it steady. It'll move it, but I don't think it'll hold it steady. So, lots to do. Oh, this barrel, you'll see what this barrel does later on. So that's the main horizontal bit there coming across. Here's the locks that go on the side here. So just in case you're interested, I just wanted to go through this. All I did here, it's 2 pieces of wood here, pretty much like this. So I've literally just glued them together, drilled a couple of holes, put some dowels in it, and then put it in a vise and just plane down the corners until I got something sort of semi-rounded, and then did the rest with the belt sander. Bit of a hard way to go, but we've got nothing else, so we work with what we've got. Anyway, that should have everything covered, I think. So we've got a lot of cutting and stuff to do today. There's still a lot of adventure to be had. So we'll get into it. Right, so here are all the bits and pieces for the drawing platform. I've got a lot of notching out to do here, so we'll just give you an idea of what it's going to look like. If I can try not to make this look too awkward. Righto. Stand up. Warts and all, folks, warts and all. Okay, that's going to be notched in so that these battens are going to be flush with the top here, and then there's a black sheet going over the top of it, and that's what will house the paper. I've cut this one, this end one a little bit thicker, so because I want a lip actually coming up, so it'll support the board coming down, so I won't have to screw the board to the platform. So that's the idea. So we'll go into a bit of time lapse now and do all the notching out. Right, so we've got everything cut out. So I suppose now the next trick is to see whether it all fits together. So I'll grab my pivot rod. I've got a feeling that I should put that in. Can't move that all that well. Okay, so that's going to work. That's going to be the main frame. Sit there nicely. You're not going to sit there nicely. Alright, and hopefully this is still in the shot. That's going to go on the end there and form the lip to hold the board down so it doesn't slide down. So that'll be him. So the next move is to finish off these contours, round all of that stuff off. I'm going to put a little bit of a cut out here and round off these to give them a nice finish. Sand it all up, and then this section of it's ready to go. This will just be cut out crudely with the jigsaw to start with, and then I'll just finish it off with the belt sander in the vise. Right, we'll use a smaller one for this. This one here. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Something round and small. That's kind of lucky. I didn't plan for that, but just as luck would have it, I'll get rid of that knotty bit on the corner there with that little cut out there. No, I meant it. I planned it all along. Okay, so in the next move, we'll cut those out, sand them back, and then change over to the orbital sander, the disc sander, and give it all a once over, and then this should be right to go together and then stay there, and we can get on with the next bit. So the next bit will be, I might do this all in the one footage, I suppose. This is the base, or the foot, whatever you want to call it. Post comes up here, so I've got a little rounded bit there, and so I'm going to do the same thing to this on either end, and then I'm going to route a bit of an edge along here, and hopefully that works out. It'll just work in with the rest of the piece. Alright, let's get outside again. Alright, back in the workshop. Time to screw a couple of things together. It worked out okay, except I had a silly moment. I put these scallops on the wrong side, so we're going to have to live with that now. Good thing there's a board going over the top of it. Not exactly what I intended, but mistakes get made. So, oh well. Alright, we're square-ish. There's your nail. Okay, so I'm going to screw this together and countersink it first. I'll have to pinch that battery, the other one's on the charge. Countersink, I said. I haven't cut it yet, but I think I'm going to, I can only fit one screw in there, so I think I'm going to put another brace bit in here. It'll hold the board as well from going down, and it'll also stabilise this. Haven't done that yet. I'll do that off camera a bit later on. We've got plenty more to do. This is pretty much good to go now, so I'll put this aside. We'll start working on other things. Base. Which one's this? It's number 2. That's forward. Okay. I prefer to do this in a drill press, but I haven't got one here, so we're going to have to do this way. I'm going to drill a hole through the base here and then and pick up this timber here and then put a dowel through it, so that should secure that quite well. Plus later on we're going to have those piano things coming up here. So the whole thing should be fairly sort of solid. Okay, mop up in aisle 2. My rag all over my apron. Okay. Yeah. Alright, locking mechanism on the barrel. Side we're in. Alright, bit of wetness and clean up that glue. Okay. Getting nervous. Alright, it's time to put it together. There's still a lot to do. There's still a few things to nut out that I couldn't figure out without putting it together. So we'll do that now, and fingers crossed. Righto, we're ready for assembly. Let's see where I've stuffed up and where I've had a win. I don't even know how to go about putting this thing together, but we'll give it a shot. I'll try not to keep my back to you as much as I possibly can. Having said that, I'm just about to turn my back to you. Now you'll see what I mean in a minute. I think what's going to happen, I'm going to put one eyelet coming through the bottom here and the other one coming out the side. Reason being is when the rope wraps around, it's going to go around probably about 4 or 5 times. So that'll push the rope out a little bit. So what I'm hoping to do is one bit comes off this way, and as it spools on, this will give it a little bit of enough room to catch up, is the idea. Okay, it does slacken off a little bit at the back here, but there's always, that's the reason I went around 4 times, so there's always tension on the rod. So I've got it offset a little bit, so I wonder if it would have made a difference if I had have put it in a central spot. I don't know what the, what do you call it, the physics are on it. See where it gets to that, where I tied it off, that's pretty tight. And when I come up to here, that loosens off up the back, but still it's not affecting its movement at all. I'll put it back to where it's tight and then do the other side. Okay, I've just got to cut some stoppers to put in there, and I'm pretty happy with the way that's come out. I'm going to play around with the ropes a little bit and see what kind of science I can figure out. Otherwise, I think I'm going to leave that. I wasn't going to screw that in. I think I'm going to leave that like that, just so if I need to move it, I can disassemble it and put it in the back of a van or whatever. But that's subject to change. So I've got to cut the black board for the top, cut the 2 locks, which are just going to be pins going in. Well, righto, here's the finished product. Stable enough, I think. I've made it so the biggest picture I'll ever do is A0. I haven't done one for a very long time. So I can run this in portrait or landscape. Easy enough to manoeuvre. Oh, that's a nice height right there actually. Yeah. Righto. Not that I do too many jobs in A0 because it just takes so much time. The last one took me 2 years. Actually, I'll show you. Okay, this is the last large piece that I did. This was completed probably, I don't even know, 6 or 7 years ago maybe. It took about 2 years to do bits and pieces. Most of the stuff was drawn individually and then later on put on and just amalgamated everything. It was a big mission, but I loved every second of it. But anyway, so this is an A0 sheet of paper. It fits the board well. Oh, I'm going to do some awesome stuff on this, I reckon. Righto, well there's that. All painted up, ready to go. It'll dry overnight and then I'll probably give it a really light sand with some worn out 120, which is about all I got. Grit paper, that is. And that'll be about it. Assemble it all. I'm going to go around here with a little bit of black. I didn't want to clog it up too much. Otherwise, she'll be operational by tomorrow night with a little bit of luck. The ridge pole, the swinging pole in the main frame for the board, I'm going to paint that on there because I don't want to thicken it up any more than it is because it's pretty tight as it is. Otherwise, apart from that, we're all done here. If there's anything else you'd like to know, if there's something else you'd like to see, if you want me to spend more time on the prep work rather than the assembly, put a jigger in the whoosy what's it and let me know. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.